I'd like to ask a question of my own, and it's one the press should be asking as well. When did we become a country where it's okay for the U.S. president to insist on national television that a state should call him to beg for anything, especially something we don't want? Have we truly lost all sense of sanity in this nation, that we treat this as normal?
I think that it's interesting to watch Pritzker and Mayor Johnson work together. Mayor Muriel Bowser we don't have a governor here in D.C., and so we didn't have to work with anybody kind of in the state ahead of them. Mayor Johnson has been really, really forthright and pretty blatant when it comes to criticism of this rollout. I think that it's been interesting to watch Pritzker, who's been a little bit more nuanced. I hope he's able to get there a bit more, but at the end of the day, people in Chicago care about crime, and Democrats are underwater when it comes to law enforcement and law and order.
COVID was a seminal moment in politics. You know, even though we had more Democrats in Florida, registered Democrats in Florida, you know, when Rick Scott got elected, when DeSantis got elected, when Jeb Bush got elected, when Charlie Crist got elected, we still had more Democrats, but we were still electing Republican governors. Okay. Now there are 1.2 million more registered Republicans. It's starting to get to a point that it's not recoverable, at least not in the short term. Okay. But I think COVID was a big piece of it. I think COVID was a big piece, and I was there. I was involved in it on the other side. I think, and I have.
How did Joe Biden only lose by 3 points then?
If
How did he
COVID
only
was a big
lose?
part of it.
He lost Florida in 2020 by just 3 points.
Well, I mean, again, as Joe Biden would say, don't judge me against the almighty, judge me against the alternative. And so 2020, right, we were still mid-COVID, okay? And, you know, people wanted to change. They wanted to change.
Hopefully I don't go all over this video with this, but I wanted to highlight a video with Chuck Todd on his newest podcast, and he brought a Democrat, Gerard McQuincy. Sorry, I messed that up. I already know I messed it up. And he's a Florida Democrat, and he's trying to ring the alarm bells that essentially Florida is unrecoverable. And I gave some examples with Chicago. And I like to end off the clip with change. He kept talking about change, how Joe Biden lost Florida by 3 percentage points, and he was the alternative, right? And now you don't think that same game, that same framing is what Donald Trump is now in 2024? Because Kamala Harris did worse in Florida compared to Joe Biden. And that was the alternative. So if Democrats take their own spiel that how Joe Biden won 2020 to the same projection how Donald Trump won 2024, they'll be doing a lot better job, but they have not learned. They have not learned anything. And the reason I talk about the Democratic Party so much, I'll give you an example of what I'm going through politically, right? I'm an American, right? I want the best possible solution and the person who's more likely to execute on that solution to be in office, regardless of your politics, regardless of your political party. Does it serve me that there's only two, parties, and one party is essentially like is a no-go? That's the Democratic Party. It's either politically where I'm at right now, it's Republican or nothing. I'm literally right. Let me know in the comment section if you think of the same. If Republicans ever elect someone that I'm like, I'm not too happy about him, I'm gonna sit my butt home. I will not vote for a Democrat because they crazy. And I might be compelled, even if I don't like the Republican choice, to vote for the Republican, depending on how bad the Democratic candidate is. That's where I'm at right now in 2025. And the Democrats, you saw from the intro, you see Pritzker, you see a Democrat, a former Biden advisor talking about how, hey, the Democrats are handling this wrong, right? You got this Florida Democrat warning that Florida is not recoverable. And I'm showing you why. As a Floridian, born and raised all my life, I live in this state, probably gonna die in this state. I can tell you why. I'm telling you why. Because I meet many Floridians around here. We talk. Even the Democrats can't even fix their mouth and be like, I voted for Kamala because I didn't like Trump. I thought Trump would be worse. Oh, every narrative, oh my God, Trump's making everything harder on us. 4 months later, hey, is everything still hard? We'll see. That's all they can tell me. All my Florida Democratic neighbors and friends, that's all they can tell me. We'll see. Because now, every narrative, every projection, oh my God, the economy is going down, all the gas prices going up. They stop doing it because I'll come around, hey, gas prices are a little down today, huh? We'll see if it stays that way. That's all they got. That's all they got. That's all they got. That's all Democratic supporters got here in Florida. We'll see. Essentially praying for something negative to happen. This is why they were so gung-ho about hoping and wishing that Trump was dead somehow. Because that's the only chance they got to stop this guy. It's ridiculous. It's almost poetic that the virtue signaling that they're pushing out is the very thing that's undoing them. For instance, I want to show you this clip from the Lieutenant Governor of Illinois.
Whatever comes next. If you or someone you love aren't sure what resources exist for immigrants in our state, I want you to go to IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org. Let me repeat that, IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org. On the front page, there's a red button that says Learn Your Rights. That takes you to a complete Know Your Rights toolkit where you can access specific guidance for different scenarios. Also on that front page is a red button that says Get Legal Help. If you or someone you know needs an immigration lawyer, this page has resources for finding representation. IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org also offers a family emergency plan template so you and your family can make a plan together before anything happens. And if you do end up facing an immigration emergency, call the Family Support Network hotline at 1-855-435-7693. There are translation services available and people ready to help. Our goal is not to scare anyone, but to prepare everyone to face some ugly realities in the coming days.
Like why? Why? Politics, bro. Come on. These illegals are political pawns for these people. And if you call it out, if you highlight how, it's in Democrats' best interest to protect the illegals, regardless if they're criminals or not, because it boosts their census numbers, right? They let these illegals vote in their elections, swaying it in their favor. They'll call you names. They'll call you, oh, you're anti-immigrant. No, I'm very pro-immigration, as long as you do it the legal way. But if you come here illegally, you must suffer accountability for this. And all I see the Democrats doing is preventing accountability. When people do wrong in the society, when people hurt other people, the Democrats don't want them to hold them accountable depending on their interest group, depending on their identity. Trans shooter goes on and shoot up the place. We need to respect their pronouns. You think people care about respecting a mass shooter, a mass criminal, an evil, demented person, and respecting his pronouns? CNN does. Oh, we misspoke. The person identified as she. Get the F out of here. And they're surprised. Oh my God, Florida's uncoverable. We got a lot of immigrants in this state. Crazy. We come from the Caribbean. Caribbean people come from a very conservative culture. I'll just put it like that. Even the Democrats here are more conservative if you compare them to other Democrats. And it takes one. Imagine the Democrat that makes the most sense, that's ringing the alarm bells. Hey, Florida's unrecoverable. Florida Democrat. Because they still have to run on some type of common sense. Florida Democrats are more what? I'll say they're still 2008. A 2008 Democrat. That's like an Obama type Democrat. And even then, Florida Democrats are starting to get a little crazy. But they're still more centrist than if you pull one from California. That's why I'd be trying to warn Democrats and their voters. Give the California Democrats a little timeout right now. Leave the New Yorkers away from them. Let's keep New York out of this. Don't give me, look, I'm telling you, these kind of Democrats, they're not doing too well. Not in my eyes anyway. But, I digress. Enough from me. Let's get more into this conversation with Chuck Todd on his podcast.
People wanted to change. Mm-hmm. They wanted to change, right? And so that was a mood politic. Okay. Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis won his reelection in Florida by 19 points, and Donald Trump just won Florida by 13 points.
Yeah.
Okay. So the policies that came out of COVID, closing of schools, the fact that Florida opened schools early because the data was clear, it wasn't spreading in schools. Right. That's a big piece, Chuck. I mean, and I was telling my Democratic colleagues, like, guys, read the data. Like, I would sit at a conference table with the governor. We'd be reading the data.
Hey. As much as I don't like his politics, Floridian to Floridian, he makes sense. Why isn't he running your party? Why isn't he not prominent in what y'all doing? Nope. Oh, he's a white man? Okay. Kick him out. Oh, you don't want to hear what he has to say? Okay. Man spitting bars. I'm agreeing with this dude right now. I'm like, Because I looked at the data. And I'm like, yeah, we should open. Who's willing to open Florida? Republicans say they're opening Florida. All right, I guess we're voting Republican. Bruh, just makes sense, Democrats. Democrats are not making sense. Why are you guys going so at bat for illegals? All the Republicans have to do, hey, you know how much resources illegals take from American citizens? Hey, a lot of these illegals, they, especially if they crime, they don't want to assimilate, they make your job harder, right? They compete, they suppress your wages because they're cheap labor, technically. Companies are going in the background trying to hire these people for dirt poor cheap. And then this is why they can say, oh, we don't need American workers. But then at the same time, Democrats say American workers don't want to do these jobs. But then when you push back on the Democrats talking about how foreign workers are taking American jobs, the Democrat will come back and say, oh, most jobs done in America are a majority Americans. Americans do all the jobs here. Majority of the jobs in America are done by Americans. But you're saying that illegals are not taking, you're saying Americans don't want to do these jobs, but you just admit that every job in the country is mostly done by Americans. Make it make sense. Anything for a narrative. And Americans, the politics that I'm pushing for is politics based on solution. I want a politician that's running on what I've done, and here's the results. You want these in a higher level? Elect me. That's the kind of politics I want. That's the kind of culture that I want to thrive in politics, so we get more people like that. I want to get ish done. Not just for political interest. That's a part to play in it as well. But also because it makes sense. Democrats are not making sense. And this is why you're not going to get elected. Especially not by Florida. Hey, look, Florida, I know Democrats love to say, oh, Florida, get out of here. Hey, common sense. Hey, it makes sense, we voting for you. It don't make sense, we're not voting for you. Telling us that our kids can be a woman and putting out a surgery, cosmetic surgery, chopping off their genitalias and saying that's a good thing for them is not going to slide in Florida. Sorry. Not even Florida Democrats can vibe with that. But you think Democrats were listening? No.
From Denmark, right, and Germany and Europe, because they were ahead of us, and it was clear it wasn't spreading in the schools. Okay, and I said to my Democratic colleagues, I'm like, when we open schools, it's going to be very, very popular. When you guys come out and tell parents you want to keep their kids in the house for another year, okay, I'm telling you, this is where this is going, and none of my colleagues wanted to hear it, Chuck. None of them wanted to hear it.
Is that the power of the teachers union? Would you ascribe it to that, or is it just
Hey, look, I've been saying this a long time on this channel. Teacher unions do not represent the interests of parents and kids. Their only interest is in themselves, because they were worried about themselves. They didn't care about the kids and their education, how they suffered from COVID lockdowns and all that stuff. If you lived in a blue state, you falling behind. A lot of these red states, they're competing with you guys in education now, right? Orlando, the county in Orange County, is one of the top rated school districts, right? A part of it, why it maintained that, is because of the fact that Florida opened. So even a Democratic district benefited from the policy. But you want to take a dump all over. Oh, DeSantis, Death Santis. Remember all the fear-mongering they were doing? But Republican Party, DeSantis showed that, look, we care about the outcomes. Look at the data. The facts don't meet this narrative, this fear-mongering narrative that the Democrats are trying to justify you staying at home another year. And Democrats became, from that day, labeled the party that runs on fear. Oh, they're trying to hysteria and fear, exaggerate problems, make it seem as scary as possible. Trump's going to be a dictator on day one. He's going to put you back in chains. It's been how long since Trump became president? What, 8 months? Do you guys see chains on my wrist? Oh, no. Oh, exaggeration. And this is how they get This is how the Democrats hurt themselves with their messaging. You fear-mongering about nothing. You try to project your imagination and pretend that's the reality. This is the problem with the Democrat messaging. I digress. Let's wrap up this video.
Part teachers union,
Okay.
part also, we were at a point of polarization that if DeSantis wanted to open government, open schools, then I had to be against it.
Right.
Then I had to be against it. You know, things had become so toxic at that point. And so I don't know what the future of the Democratic Party holds in Florida. Democrats had powered Florida for 100+ years. We're 35 years into Republican rule. We may be here for another 70. But right now, it's systemic. This is a red state. It's a systemic red state. There was no repercussion for.
And I remember I made a prediction a long time ago. I think it was 2022 before DeSantis ran for re-election. I was like, yo, Florida's a red state. And I was calling out when Florida had 500,000 plus more Republicans registered than Democrats. I was like, hey, Florida's a red state. I don't know why all these CNN analysts have Florida as a lean red state. This is a deep red state. He showed it in 2024, in the midterms. He showed it. He was like, yeah, we're a red state. And I was like, I told you. Chris Christie didn't have a chance. Sorry, not Chris Christie. Charlie Chris, I forgot his name already. The former Republican, he ran against DeSantis at the end. I forgot his name. Charlie Chris, I forget his name. Sorry, guys. It was so long ago. But this man's spitting. He's spitting. He's like, yo, like, look at the results here. Well, you guys, Democrat Party, I don't know the future of the Democratic Party. I just showed you the future of the Democratic Party. If you're watching this video, you watched it to the end. You saw it in the beginning. Blind opposition to whatever the Republicans are doing. The Republicans can actually be onto something. Hey, Americans are concerned about crime. Let's pivot to crime. Let's not worry about Epstein. Epstein, even if you release all the documents, how that's affecting your life. But if we worry about crime, how's that going to affect your life? Especially if you live in a major city. Especially if these criminals know, oh, shoot, if we act up too much, we might get the national attention, and we got the National Guard in our hood. Let's chill out for a bit. What serves the American people better? But blind opposition is what's hurting the Democratic Party. That's the Democrats' brand now. Blind opposition. It don't matter if it's Trump. If a Republican said we're going to do X, Democrats say we shouldn't do X. But they can't explain why. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Right? And I don't see myself as just a conservative. I see myself as an American first. And I'm an American before my political affiliation. I'm an American before I'm a conservative. Before I even knew what political leanings I had, I knew I was an American. And that's what takes priority in my analysis. Is this good for America, for the Democratic Party to just be a blind opposition party? The answer is no. No, it don't benefit you as an American to have Democrats being blindly opposition to Trump with no reason because Trump said so. Trump doing this, I don't like it. Make it make sense. And no matter how much time you try to drill it in their damn heads, especially their supporters, they don't care. They just want someone to resist Trump. We want someone who's going to oppose Trump at every turn. Newsom's playing into it now. And this Florida Democrat who's actually trying to win, who's actually trying to be sensible, who actually knows what's going to sway a Floridian like me, the Democratic Party don't want to listen to him. Democrats, we're going to be studying this in political science 20 years from. My son is going to go to college learning about what transpired during this era in politics. How Trump destroyed and broke the Democratic Party. That's what's going to be a history note in political history, because this is insanity. The very thing they use to galvanize their base is now a toxic poison destroying possibly their political future. Poetic it is. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'll be each to hear your thoughts and your opinions on my commentary on this whole Democrats losing Florida and possibly the country for the next 10 years. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. Do you agree with what I had to say, or do you disagree? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me on the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.